think the reason why America was so dominant in the last lands are definitely because they were much more prepared. They had much better comps than some of the Europeans. I'd say that's why the outcome was so US favored.
I think North America winning the last 2 lands is, to be honest, a little bit lucky. I don't think that's going to happen again.
I don't think the US doing well is like a blip. I would just say there are good teams from both regions, and it just so happens to have fallen in our favor the last couple.
I've always viewed American teams as just as good as European teams, actually, despite them not performing as well on land and such. But I think that comes down to the practice and not like their team skills or individual skills.
I think Europe is going to go back to dominating the arena scene. I think BlizzCon 2018 was kind of weird in terms of comms and what was good. And at Spring Finals this year, I feel like the only good NA team was Cloud9, and they won, but all the other teams got like 5th, 7th and 8th place. So I think it's still going to be Europe dominating.
You know, for a long time, I really think the story of NA versus EU was the top teams were definitely of the same caliber, but the depth of those top teams in the EU region was much wider. They had way more, they were the thicker region, if you will. They just had much more teams that were the top level. And then NA would maybe field one team that would fall into that category, and then everybody else would be slightly lower. I think when we actually look at the arena scene and how the cups have panned out now, I think both regions are just sending so many more teams of the highest caliber. And I think we start to see that with the NA region. You know, a slow start to this tournament, but ultimately, Healingstat, when we get to these final days, when we start to eliminate teams, it always tends to somewhat even out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Sidhu who tweeted it out yesterday, basically saying, like, it's crazy how competitive this year has been, both in terms of Europe and North America. There's 5 BlizzCon spots, and right now we're literally going to have BlizzCon champions competing for one of those BlizzCon spots. And even if they win this, they still have to win another series after. So it's really been a crazy year, both in terms of Europe and North America. Certainly at the Spring Finals, Cloud9, I think, were the dominant team by far. But in this one, there's still a long way to go. Method Black are obviously in pole position right now, but any of the 6 teams or 5 teams now remaining, you get a feeling could win.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, you think about Cloud9 right now, and they're obviously, you know, top 2 teams, top team of their region. But Method Black does seem like it's going to be such a huge obstacle for them. The nice thing is, they don't need to be fighting for their BlizzCon spot. You look at this matchup, they need to be fighting for their BlizzCon spot. We got the move right now to cast all of the action. Who's going to be able to get one step closer to BlizzCon? It's going to be Method Orange or Diabolus.
I mean, this is a real test to see, does the Frost DK, is it going to be able to hold up against the RMD, right? Because this is the counter that we've been hearing of. And if they can't beat Diabolus, I don't know if Method Orange will be able to take out Method Black, so hopefully they win this series. Full step over on the Sidhu, cheap shot on the Mez. I think they want to open on Trill early on, at least until dampening. That should be their strategy. But I don't know, they released a CC but don't do a go. They couldn't catch Trill in the kidney. They actually decided to go into Sidhu, full grapple weapon over on the Nixie, good kills by Trill, double blind over on the Nixie and Asgrath, and they countered to go pretty well. Double leg sweep over. Asgrath actually trinkets the very first stun. Possibility to punish him on that. Nixie's dipping dangerously low, still having the evasion, clutch showers advantage, so he should be okay.
Lots of pressure going on here. Method Orange definitely no strangers to this Rogue Mage matchup, bringing out their signature Windwalker Death Knight. Sidhu actually opting into spec into the Ghost Wolf, which it adds a stacking damage reduction the longer he sits in that Ghost Wolf. So I think that instantly caught Diabolus off guard, trying to open on Sidhu, getting no pressure. Instantly swapping it up, kidney shot onto Troyer, trying to get some pressure rolling. Need some follow-up crowd control onto Sidhu, otherwise Sidhu should be able to easily top his team off here. Mez currently in his sheep. Right now, I think Method Orange really want to try to potentially look for a kill on Asgrath. That first triple leg sweep by Trill there just got so much pressure onto them. And I think that definitely put him on the back foot here. Trill attacking Nix behind the pillar, definitely cannot get on target right now. Sidhu doing a great job positioning himself so far away from the rogue of Nixie right now.
Because of the Frost Death Knight, I actually want to see them not hit Asgrath for a little, possibly get Iron Bark, and then as soon as they get Iron Bark, try to use their next stun over on Asgrath and then go him because he won't have Trinket and Iron Bark available. So far, Method Orange doing an incredible job stopping the goes. Early in tournament already down by Sidhu, won't be up for 50 seconds. Double blind on the DPS into a double leg sweep. We always see this from Method Orange. Beautiful Nixie dipping low once again, still having his Trinket, trades out the Vanish instead of the evasion. Alec getting kicked, Iron Bark being traded by Asgrath. So much pressure coming out by Method Orange actually, and they're trying to revert the pressure by cheap shotting Mez and slow it down a little bit, and they do a really, really good job and slowing down the pressure.
Time for Diabolus to turn it around here. Kidney shot onto Trill. Frozen Orbs and use Asgrath. Beautiful time to drink here as his teammate already has the offensive pressure. Hopefully comes out here with full mana and can bring the game back into their favor here. Alec getting locked up by Trill. Good job by him. Nice mind freeze from Mez there. Sidu still just untouched this game. Nixie really trying to get set up that kidney shot, but just Sidu is so prepared for it. He's ready for it. Alec trying to set it up here. Sheep onto Trill, looking to connect that kidney shot onto Sidu right now. Alec and Nixie connecting finally, maybe. Nope. Unfortunately not. It looks like they want to commit to Trill here. Kidney shot onto Trill. Still, Sidu just sitting so far back from Diabolus that it's just impossible for Asgrath to ever push him for that bash or Nixie to ever get on him for that kidney shot. So right now, just Trill and Mez sticking onto Alex, shutting him down, stopping these polymorphs.
Yeah, doing a really good job shutting him down. And one thing you want to take note of, actually, is that when Asgrath goes for a drink, usually teams will chase the healer to try to stop the drink. Instead, Method Orange, what they decide to do is do as much damage as they possibly can to Alec and Nixie and force Asgrath to come back into the fight. Grip over on the Asgrath into a double blind, wind shear on Alec, until, wow, beautiful cross CC, double leg sweep, hex on Alec, so Asgrath isn't able to dispel it. Ironbark on Nixie, but he has to trade the evasion too. Overlap of cooldowns there. Sidu contour a full polymorph, maybe possibly able to reverse the pressure, but no kidney shot. Kidney shot actually over on the Sidu, and they're going to go on the Sidu.
Sidu pre-ghost wolfing that kidney shot. Great job. Alec instantly trying to spell steal that away there. That was another one of those solid pushes like we just said. Asgrath with that no trinket. The second he comes out into the open, Mez is right there with the grip. Double disorient. Trill follows it up with a stun. But right now, Sidu kind of just sitting out in the middle of the map here in that Earthen Totem by him, instantly getting back to the pillar. Good positioning by him, now well out of Alec's range. He should be just fine here.
Even though Diabolus haven't been doing consistent goes, I would say, and forcing a lot of cooldowns, I think this is somewhat in their favor because deep into damping, the Rogue Mage should be able to kill Mez through his cooldowns because AMS is affected by damping, so is Death Strike. They should be able to make something happen here. Innervate used by Asgrath, trying to stay up in mana, but Sidu also keeping up in mana, doing a very good job. Triple DR sheep on the Mez, so keep a note that Mez is on DR for Polymorph. They won't be able to peel him on their next go. Fist of Fury by Trill, not really doing too much damage. Good feint by Nixie. Full kidney over on the Trill, pressure actually being reversed right now. Trill dipping to 50% HP, no Earthen Totem available. Possibly having to trade the Touch of Karma, but his tank trinket does proc here. Double leg sweep, really good again by Method Orange. Beautiful grip leg sweep. Wind shear on Alec as soon as it comes out of that. Pillar of Frost pop. And not too much pressure coming up by Method Orange.
A lot of the European Mage Rogue teams, when they seem to fight Method Orange, I think the way that Method Orange decides to play their Windwalker DK comp is they really like to sit back behind the pillar, and I think it honestly throws teams like Diabolus off because they're not exactly sure which target to be hitting or where exactly to put the pressure because the positioning from Method Orange makes it so difficult to actually keep any sort of consistent damage going out, just the way how they're always 40 yards apart, the cooldowns are always there. Trill, it's impossible to triple CC, so someone is always available to stop the damage coming in.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, look what happens when they do their go. Their go finishes, they come out of the kidney. If they have to use an Earthen Totem, they do. And then just walk behind a pillar, reset the pressure, and realize, hey, we'll just wait until leg sweeps back up, and we'll do our go again.
Just extremely safe here, but Sidu actually pushing out here. Cheap shot, draw it off that beautiful in-cap by Trill, stopping that follow-up kidney shot there, and Alec once again trying to follow, but it's just so hard for Alec to ever get to Sidu when he's positioning like this. And this is why it's so good, because it leaves Alec open, and they don't have actually defensive blind coming out from Nixie here. I really don't know how I feel about that blind because they weren't able to actually hit anything in that. Just once again with this positioning here, Trill sitting in the middle of the map trying to do damage to anything that he can. Asgrath as well doing very, very well on mana right now. Both healers honestly managing to keep a huge chunk of their mana. 5 minutes of the game as dampening is beginning to ramp up here.
I think I'm starting to notice what Diabolus is doing is actually double X over into Alec and then Nixie actually, and a lot of cooldowns being popped. Nixie dropping dangerously low, and Alec actually, both of them dropping dangerously low. Alec having to trade the feint and the Cloak of Shadows, but Alec doesn't have to use an Ice Block there. Only Ironbark traded by Asgrath, still having his trinket. But I noticed Diabolus isn't even really doing goes. They're not seeing Sidu. All they're doing is kidney shotting Trill, pumping damage. I think their goal is to make it in the damping. I mean, even with the defensive blind over in the Mez and not using on the Sidu, you could really tell that they think they win in dampening.
I'm kind of worried about this dampening strategy because we've seen 3 pushes now from Method Orange where they get that double disorient into the double leg sweep setup from Trill, and they're both going down to 20%, and as dampening ramps up, it's not going to be possible for Asgrath to just top both of his teammates like that. So right now, I'd really like to see Diabolus really try to focus in on what they want to attack here. It seems like Trill has been the target of choice, but they just haven't been able to actually get any follow-up crowd control on a Seed or anything, or even actually force a single defensive cooldown from anyone on Method Orange so far.
The magic number I notice in most of the cups that we've seen before as Rogue Mage versus Windwalker Death Knight,
is 15%, right? So 15%, I'm expecting them to go into Mez, commit some kidney shots over in the Mez, get some cooldowns. As we say that, Alexu comes off on the Nixie, Ironbark traded by Asgraf. He should be 100% fine, still having the evasion. Vanish up in 30 seconds, blind up in 50, Troll caught into the kidney actually, trying to reverse the pressure, but during Mez's Pillar of Frost, this could be a little bit scary. Mez making his way over onto Alec. Really good juke by Alec on a polymorph. He's going to sheep up Mez now. Mez won't be able to play the game. And as I said, that Troll actually comes over, says nope, gets wind sheared by Sidu. Good wind sheared by Sidu over onto Alec, so Alec isn't able to blink away. He's caught on the Troll and Mez, who both Wraithwalk and Tiger Slots out of that Nova, and they stick on Alec.
I like that you mentioned the strategy. Generally in North America, the Mage Rogue teams would always swap to Death Knights as dampening got to about 20-ish% or so, because their self-healing is not actually enough to sustain through the Mage Rogue consistent pressure. But a lot of the European Mage Rogues have not even tried to implement that strategy. I don't know if that's because Sidu is bringing that Restoration Shaman as opposed to potentially the Druid Healer that we might normally see with that Windwalker DK. But we'll have to see what's going on, because Diabolus seems pretty set on just the consistent kidney shots on the Trill, such as one right now. Alec essentially just throwing down that Frozen Orb, trying to do as much pressure as possible. It's just so difficult for Alec to do anything, because Mez is just all over him the entire time, using those cooldown reduction talents as well, making it so hard for Alec to use any sort of blinks offensively and defensively at all. Nixie just instantly chains of ice the entire game. Anytime he starts to walk towards Sidu, Mez instantly realizes what's about to happen. Great job by Sidu, just always making sure he's sitting behind the pillar as far away from Alec as possible, because in theory, Nixie cannot actually just solo kill Sidu because he has those Ghost Wolf talents, making him very, very tanky. So if Alec can never connect, then it's kind of a wasted effort from Nixie. So
I mean, I don't know, man. Asgraf just got a full drink off. This seems to be in favor of Diabolus, to be honest. I mean, they have all of their cooldowns back. Nyx doesn't have Cloak of Shadows. Cloak of Shadows doesn't really affect anything too much. They should be fine for a while. I actually think in dampening, Sidu's team might be in a lot of trouble if they decide to go in Mez. Even Troll, relying on so much self-healing. Double execute by Troll, using his Storm, Wind, and Fire. Going on to Nixie. Nixie dropping around 50% HP, but not having to use anything but the feint there. I'm pretty sure Nixie's just going to reverse with the kidney shot right here over on the Troll, and they're going to get a lot of pressure. I'm not sure if Sidu's going to be able to heal through this if he gets counterspelled, so he needs to be careful with getting locked out. And as I said, he pops the Aura Mastery, of course, knowing that, hey, if I get counterspelled here, Troll's going to have to use Touch of Karma. It's going to be a lot of trouble for my team.
Yeah, dampening is starting to pick up here. Lots of damage coming out. Full blind onto Sidu. Beautiful job by Nixie when he has that opportunity to, because Sidu, as we can tell earlier, sitting so far away, so Nixie forcing his trinket out there. This could be a potential opening for a swap to Sidu, but it looks like Sidu is pushing you with the Malix onto Alec here. Lots of damage from Troll and Mez all over right now. Asgrath burning through his mana bar right now. No innervate available. Full kidney shot onto Sidu, trying to reverse the pressure here. Great disarm from Troll onto Nixie, stopping this go here. Alec locked out on that polymorph now, can no longer blink away. And Mez, Troll, and Sidu are in a 3v1 situation. Asgrath using that Iron Bark onto Alec, potentially looking for a drink right now, realizing if they don't have any mana right now, they're dying soon.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, Alec's actually locked out right now, having the Ice Block. Really good plays by Method Orange. No Iron Bark available for Asgarath, actually. This is going to be really hard for Asgarath to heal through. I mean, Alec's stuck in the Ice Block. Nixie using Feint, possibly also having to use Evasion. As long as Troll and Mez do a good job staying on Alec, they can burn through Asgarath's mana and even out the mana advantage. One thing you want to keep in note is that Nixie is actually going over into Sidu so he doesn't get cleaved and Asgarath doesn't have to burn through his mana. And that way, Asgarath only really has to heal Alec because they both have to connect to him at the same time. Just grip double blind over into Asgarath and Alec. I want to see maybe a follow-up capacitor totem potentially, but if Nixie's aware, Nixie actually would have grown the Mez. There's the strategy I've been looking for. 33% dampening, decides to go on Mez. Mez only having AMS and AMZ. Sidu caught into a half polymorph. Mez is in a lot of trouble here, but so is Nixie in the grapple. Beautiful kick over on Alec, trying to stop the pressure, but Sidu caught in a full Cyclone. Where's the follow-up Cyclones? I want to see that from Asgarath. Asgarath not going for the follow-up clones, actually gets wind sheared on his regrowth. Both teams so low right now. Alec popping Icy Veins, maybe having used the second Ice Block. There's the Spirit Link. Kenny on the Mez again, but their team's still all around 60% HP. Alec around 40%. He's also locked out right now. He can't get away. Anti-Magic Zone. Mez has no cooldowns left available.
Yeah, Method Orange really just lots of damage going out here. Just basically fully sending it here. Sidu throwing the link out. Anti-Magic Zone has been used, doing everything they can to get pressure right now, realizing the direness of the situation. Alec under a lot of fire right now, only one block remaining. They did decide earlier to trade out that Ice Block for a big drink from Asgarath. Full incap on a Trill, damage onto Alec right now. Any follow-up CC looking for it right now. Great positioning by Asgarath, getting away there. Double onto Alec and Nixie. Nixie using that trinket there, realizing cannot take much damage. Mez still so low. Full Cyclone onto Sidu. Trinket available, but only Earthen Totem to save him. Mez line aside in the mage as much as he can. Nixie all over him right there. This is so bad. Someone needs to do something.
Oh, Mez might just actually go down right now unless Troll can somehow save him. I don't think Sidu has any cooldowns. I'm going to use Earthen Totem, but 40% in dampening. Mez can easily die through. He might have to trade out the anti-magic shell. Alec needs to get this polymorph on this very next go. Mez will 100% die. There's a full kidney shot over into Mez, or even land a counter spell right now. CD is going to have to cast at some point, and I believe he knows that. He has a grounding totem available to stop Alex's counter spell, but how is he going to stop Nixie? Full blind, actually. Can he follow up with possibly a sap if he gets a restealth or a polymorph? Even a half cyclone would be very dire for Mez. No CC follow-up off the blind.
Wow.
Instead, decides to cyclone Trill instead of Sea-Doo. I feel like if the CC followed up on the Sea-Doo, Mez easily would have gone down there, but they're still not out of the woods yet.
Mez.
Full kidney over into Mez. Kick over on Alec. Mez is going to go down as the Diabolus takes the first game.
Now, one of the things that you brought up in the cast that Healing Set and I have actually talked about a whole bunch on this desk is what is that critical mass where the Death Knight becomes the juiciest target in the arena? You said potentially 15%. We ultimately see them swap over at 33%. Is that the inevitability in this matchup, Healing Stat?
Yeah, so Super T's magic number for a while was 40%, but I think with the gear inflating, we've seen teams going over to the Death Knight a little bit earlier, and that was the win condition for Diabolus. They played a very European game here, I'm going to say. They played very defensively damp. Alec didn't use any of his ice blocks in the early game, didn't take any risks, and then Asgraf ultimately was able to find a drink. And I mean, the Restoration Druid and Deep Dampening will burn through his mana much faster, but ultimately that doesn't really matter because the Death Knight's healing just becomes less and less relevant. Those Death Strikes aren't enough to keep him alive, and if they just survive, the Rogue Mage Druid actually becomes the dampeners, and that was a very clean game one.
I also feel like we didn't really see Method Orange have much of a pulse in that game. It seemed like it was relatively under the control of the RMD throughout all of it. Do you think that this is the comp that we stick with here, Pika?
I think it's hard to say from Method Orange. I think another option might be that DK Demon Hunter comp that we've seen so much from them that they have so much success on. But I think just that kind of that last game, I think Method Orange really went for an offensive push at the wrong time there when they decided to throw out their Spirit Link, their Anti-Magic Zone, and basically their best defensive cooldowns. They weren't actually able to force anything, and I think that completely switched the pace of the game there into the favor of Diabolus. I really just would have liked to see them stick to their game plan, playing it slow, playing it defensive, looking for those methodical double stun setups that they were getting.
Do you think that DH would be able to get any of that going, or do you think that DH just seems better because we saw them win on it?
I mean, we haven't seen a single Demon Hunter picked to counter Rogue Mage.
Yeah.
Right? But I have seen a special team, Method Black, actually playing the DH, DK into the other Rogue Mages and beating them in practice. So, I mean, we'll see.
And this is not meant as any flame here. I think it's honestly goes without saying. If you're going to pick a Demon Hunter, if you have to pick between Raikou and Trill, I think 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, maybe even 11 times out of 10, I would pick Trill. Personally, I think Raikou's done a fantastic job playing that Demon Hunter when he needs to, but for the most part, his main is definitely going to be his mage.
I mean, certainly, yeah. When it just comes to raw practice on the stage, Trill has been there and done it. He literally won BlizzCon mostly playing the Demon Hunter. Raikou, I think he's a fantastic Demon Hunter, one of the best in Europe, but he's not going to have that kind of proven track record because he's been playing mostly the mage, right? So I think it's a fair statement to make. Trill, they may well try it, and I think this is going to be something that Method Orange, they're just going to have to kind of rotate through their best cleave compositions. Whether or not any of them will actually win is a question, because the Frost Death Knight, he has so many modifiers when he bursts with the Pillar of Frost, the Chill Streak, the Empowered Rune Weapon. It's crazy that they can't get the Ice Block through something as small as an Iron Bark, but that's just the way that game played out, and they couldn't find cooldowns.
I'm actually really surprised. A lot of people in chat saying Raikou better nowadays. I would pick Raikou. That's actually
I think he is really good on the Demon Hunter.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying that he wasn't, right? I definitely respect him a lot as a Demon Hunter, which, honestly, with my plays on Succubay, like, that is very high praise for me to actually say that.
That's what they all seek, right?
Yeah, I'm that Demon Bay. That's just the truth. But the thing is when I think about Trill on that Demon Hunter, even when we finally saw him break it out yesterday, he is just everywhere. He's doing everything that he needs to do. I think the only critique really had for him yesterday was the idea that, he maybe got greedy once or twice. But, ultimately in this situation, we are going to see Trill stay on that Monk. Will it be enough for Method Orange to tie up this series?
All right, and we are on Dalaran Sewers here, the map pick from Method Orange, deciding to stick with that Windwalker Death Knight composition, probably feeling like that is their best option here. I think some things that they're probably going to try to do, they're going to make sure to never overcommit on a push like that, because things might seem like, wow, we really got to try to stay aggressive here and keep the damage up. But sometimes in certain situations, that'll actually put you further behind in the game than you'd like. And strong opener onto Sidu here. Sap onto Trill, Sheep onto Mez. Sidu pre-Earthen Toteming this go. Great job by him denying the opener from Diabolus right now, keeping himself nice and healthy here. I would assume Trill and Mez looking to reverse the pressure right off this kidney shot orb. Looks like just trying to get out as much damage as possible right now, setting the pace of the game.
Yeah, and this is basically a fake go. I mean, Diabolus, yes, they want to make it to dampening, but they do realize, hey, we can't just do absolutely nothing to make it there, or we'll just get ran over. So there's committing the kidney, throwing an orb, but they're not going to overcommit and go for crowd control over into Sidu. And I think this is a really smart pick by Sidu, actually, to stay with the Windwalker DK, just because this is Dalaran Sewers. There's going to be a lot more opportunities to grip in Asgarath and go for, like, a double blind, which they attempted to do right there, but I think Mez actually missed his blind. But Tro does get the double X over in Nixie and Alec. Very good. Kick over in Alec, not being able to cast. Ironbark on Alec right now. He should be fine. I don't think they should get ice blocked from this, but I mean, if Tro does connect, maybe he'll be able to, but Tro gets Nova'd up. Nixie's just sticking on him, making sure it doesn't get to him. The kidney shot is coming very soon and try to reverse the pressure. Tigers lost by Tro. Tro actually does use the Fortifying Brew offensively there with the touch of death to make sure it does more damage. Earthen Totem during the kidney shot. Very well played by Sidu, and I don't know, he won't have his Fortifying Brew for the next go or his Trinket, so he can get caught in a smoke bomb and die at Pico.
Yeah, Method Orange really looking to get aggressive here. It's just hard for them to get any real cooldowns out of here. Trill used the touch of death with every defensive cooldown. Sidu began to push in for the purges there, but just Asgarath so far away, unable to be kicked or crowd controlled even remotely now. And now Trill sheeped on the other side of the map along with Mez. Nixie back onto Sidu, but Sidu, nice pre-Ghost Wolf by him as well. It looks like Sidu is no longer oh no, Sidu is still playing the Ghost Wolf Town as well, realizing that he is still a very big kill target on this team. Right now, trying to get some pressure back rolling on Alec. It seems hard for when Method Orange can really try to push in. I don't know if they should be really trying this hard to kill them before dampening is even kicked in yet. I think it kind of puts them at risk, just exposing Sidu in the open, no pillar around him, and it leaves everyone open to crowd control.
I mean, maybe they know something we don't. Maybe deep in dampening, you know, Method Orange is actually unfavored and they realize that. But if they're going to commit, I feel like being on such a small map, gripping Asgarath, get the double stun off, potentially the triple, and get as much pressure as you can. I mean, there's a double blind, hopefully a double leg sweep off that. Just like I called, double leg sweep. They just need to do this over and over and over if they're going to pick this map in this composition, get early pressure out. Beautiful capacitor told him to follow up the leg sweep. Look at Asgarath right now. He has to use the Bark Skin. He has to expend so much mana. And then on top of that, he has to worry about healing Alec afterwards.
Yeah, Sidu actually caught into a kidney shot here. Anti-magic zone coming up from Mez there. Great defensive play. Sidu under a lot of pressure. Cheap shot off that vantage. Peels are coming in. Triple cheap shots on the world. Triple DR bash from Asgarath. Trying to get that link here. Ascendance has been used. Lots of damage still on Sidu here. Mez doing everything he can. Locking out Alec. Landing those kicks. Instantly turning the pressure here. Caught in a Nova, unfortunately. Sidu cloned low by Asgarath.
Good
Trill caught into a sheep. Nixie trying to get that reach stealth. Going for the Garrote stun off this clone. Does he get it? Vanishes for it. Unfortunately, Sidu got that Ghost Wall off. Great job by him. Ancestral shits have been used. Potentially, maybe a little preemptively here. Still very low right now on stun DR for a little bit longer. Trill caught in that kidney shot. Nixie giving up the kill on Sidu now. I kind of maybe would have liked to see them keep pushing on to Sidu there because he's actually in Alec's line of sight there. Asgarath looking to get a drink right now. When mage rogues are going offensive like this is the best time to be looking for drinks right here. There's no pressure at all on his team, and Asgarath easily gets mana back.
This can't happen on a map like this. They need to stop the drinks in order to have somewhat of an advantage, especially on a map as small as Dalaran. As long as they walk over towards Asgarath and move the fight over to him, one of them should be able to stop the drink, especially someone who has cooldowns like, let's say, Trill, for instance. But as I said, that Trill gets caught up in the kidney, Sidu caught in the bash, but the blind defensively really well played by Mez. Into the double leg sweep, reverse pressure. Alec having to trick it and blink away with Ironbark and Temporal traded overlap of cooldowns, but they might still get his ice block. I don't know. Alec gets kicked, not able to kite away. Mez's cooldowns and Trill, Storm, Wind, and Fire also pop. No CC on Asgarath, no in-cap, no capacitor totem, nothing to follow it up. I feel like they should have pushed for more cooldowns there.
Yeah, Method Orange did get a lot of damage off there, but Asgarath countering it very well with that Innervate there, making sure he's not expending any of that mana unnecessarily. Nixie under fire right now, using that feint, just basically trying to apply the dots out, trying to get some pressure rolling, making sure he's getting that energy regen from those bleed ticks right now. Lots of sheeps onto Mez. Method Orange pulling back here, realizing there's no point to be out there risking a kill right now because everything's on cooldown. Mez and Trill slightly pushing out onto Alec here, but Asgarath just 100% on the mana bar here, and I really think they got to try to focus on stopping those drinks, because that's why Method Orange picks a map like this, because it should be hard for Asgrath to be consistently just running around and drinking. Good Earthen Totem by Sidu on that Frozen Orb from Alec here. Still lots of pressure on the Nixie. Nice grip here to Saurian. I'd like to see the triple leg sweep. There it is right here. Lots of damage going out. Instantly trinking it out of that, realizing the danger there. Asgrath capped out of that. Lots of damage here. Barks and Hughes. Great defensive blind by Nixie. Trill has no trinket, so he has to sit that one. Beautiful kick from Mez onto Alec there. Will there be a sap onto Trill out of that? Looks like there will not be. A good job by him maintaining combat. Asgrath still not out of the woods yet. Only Ironbark remaining. Oh, great heal by him, topping himself off. Good peels by Nixie with a cheap shot kidney there, and he'll be just fine.
That was a really, really nice blind by Nixie. I want to give him that. He blinded Troll on that go, saving Asgrath's trinket and his Ironbark, and making him not use as much mana to have to top himself right there. Really good blind over by Nixie. But I want to see that more. I want to see that more by Method Orange, because that's not always going to be available. You know, there are going to be times when Asgrath gets stunned, crits may follow up. He might not even be able to get the blind off in time, and then as long as they spam Purge, Deepen, and Dampening, I mean, Asgrath could easily die.
I think definitely the grip from Mez onto Asgrath into the leg sweep is a really good strategy. I think it's just very hard to deal with that, because Asgrath positioning always just 40+ yards max range healing his team. But I think Method Orange realized when you're playing a comp like Windwalker DK, anyone can die at any moment. There is so much damage from across the lane. On the Nix right now, no trinket available, only evasion and vanish available from Asgrath. Sending out that Ironbark there, swapping Alec on the bark there. Lots of damage. Sidu caught into that kidney shot. Pre-earthens it. Great job by him. This is the time to get aggressive. This is when you want to push him right now. Good damage on Nixie. Battlemaster's going to fall soon. Will chunk his HP bar. Sidu just easily fending off this attack.
This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see if the leg sweep isn't available for Asgrath because he's doing a really good job with positioning and standing max range, then grip Alec and then get the double leg sweep onto Alec and Nixie, because at some point in dampening, Asgrath isn't going to be able to heal through this. Nixie needs to be a little bit careful. He still has his evasion. Asgrath gone to the in-cap, the paralysis. Still having his Ironbark. Nixie dismantled on the go into Sidu, really good. Anti-Magic Zone traded too, I'm not sure about that one. Actually, Mez did a great job respecting Alec's Icy Veins. Trades out the Anti-Magic Zone and says, hey, you don't have to use Trinket, you don't have to use Spirit Link. Sidu not necessarily out of the woods yet, sitting Ghost Bluff, trying to stay alive. And he's trying to get away from Nixie, but I think the one he wants to look out for is Alec, because at some point, Nixie will get to him and land the kidney shot. He needs to not be in Alec's line once he gets the kidney shot off, or he's going to go down.
Yeah, Nixie actually pushed in for the growth there and got it, but decided to not follow up for the kidney shot there, deciding to actually use it on Trill, bringing the game back into the open here, potentially trying to get some crowd control onto Sidu here. Cyclone onto Trill, on the trinket there from Asgrath. Ironbark has been used onto Alec here. Just full sheep onto Sidu, now stuck in the middle of the map. Trill could potentially be in some trouble here. Fortifying Brew, Nixie deciding to trade out that evasion on that touch of death go from Trill there. So I kind of would have liked to see the evasion held for the final kill. I don't think that was a totally necessary button, but lots of damage onto Alec here. Temporal Shield being traded out. Cyclones from Asgrath coming out onto Mez. Okay, it looks like the time has come to start attacking Mez here.
Oh yeah, 100%. They need to start going in Mez. Mez only has Icebound, no EMS for 25 seconds. Sidu caught up in a bash. Any follow-up CC? Full Cyclone, beautifully played. Mez actually in a lot of trouble. I mean, he still has his Icebound. He might have to press it kind of high. Sidu still has his Trinket Spirit Link. Not something you want to trade for an Icebound if potentially you're going to be able to hold the Spirit Link, because Spirit Link is the only cooldown that they have that could actually save them in dampening. Ascendance isn't going to do anything. Sidu's healing output is not going to do anything. Depth Strike isn't going to do anything either. They need to try to hold the Spirit Link as long as they can for deep and dampening, but as I say that, Asgrath's mana is like very, very dire.
This is exactly what Method Orange wants. Lots of damage on Alec. Sheep onto Mez, blind onto Trill, kidney shot onto Sidu. Great job, Asgrath getting that drink right now. Every time that blind is up, Asgrath is instantly ready to go drink, realizing he needs a mana. Huge drink from Asgrath here. Wow. I feel like that was... I think that was very brutal that they couldn't stop that. I feel like Method Orange really had the upper hand there with the mana, but unfortunately not. Alec forced into that ice block, trading out the drink for it. I think at this point in the game, I think that's a worthy trade.
That's definitely a worthy trade. Only having one ice block deep in the dampening. As I said, Sidu gets caught up in a kidney shot. Actually, pre-healing ties out. I'm not sure if that's going to keep him up. Cyclone decently low just because he knows, hey, Sidu could just Ghost Wolf. He'll be 100% fine here. So instead he Cyclones him low. Maybe waits for the kidney shot DR to come back. But, I mean, no follow-up Cyclones. Trill caught into a Polymorph. They're actually both connecting on the Alec right now in the very dangerous point in dampening. 26%, only one ice block available. You can see the cold snaps on cooldown for 7 minutes. And Alec dipping into 50%. No Ironbark traded, really good by Asgrath noticing, hey, you don't need Ironbark here. Full kidney shot over to Mez. Mez now having the Anti-Magic Shell and Anti-Magic Zone available. With Sidu having Trinket and Spirit Link. This isn't looking too bad for Method Orange, but they need to start doing the double X sweep goes soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried. Method Orange still doing very well on mana and defensive cooldown-wise. They just got to get one of those major grips onto Asgrath into the leg sweep from Triller to keep the pressure going. Things are still looking a little rough and lots of damage. Big shatter from Alec there. Still kind of low. Ascendance continues. Sidu looking to get aggressive here. Full kidney shot onto Mez right now. Could be in trouble here. Great kick by Trill, stopping that polymorph.
Oh no!
Oh, Sidu's locked. Bringing Fist of Trill. Solo AMS has been used. Fist of Fury coming out from Trill, trying to do anything he can. Double leg sweep there. Lots of damage. Sidu's still caught in that sheet right now.
Trill really did a great job reversing the pressure there. Right there in that kick, Mez easily could have gone down, but Trill with the double leg sweep into the dismantle over to Nixie into the kick on Alec, really showing why he won BlizzCon last year. Alec stuck in the kick right now. He might have to trade the Ice Block. Beautiful capacitor totem. As Method Orange falling behind in pressure, you could tell there's such an experienced team just reversing the pressure in such a dire situation. But Mez maybe having to trade the Icebound there. Pre-Erlen totem by Sidu, but Maledict connected on the Mez. Full Cyclone over to Sidu. Sidu still having his Trinket, but no Spirit Link available. Possibly having the Trinket. He actually decides not to into the cheap shot. Mez is still very dangerously low. He's stuck in a growth. He can't Icebound right now. He's off playing Trinket. He gets Sidu. He gets polymorphed on his Trinket.
Oh my goodness.
Down. Wow.
In 2019, a Ret Paladin named McConnell said, when C do, you don't. But that's not looking like the case here. We are seeing a team absolutely tear this squad apart. And we look at both of these teams' healing stat, and we start asking the question, which one are we going to potentially see at BlizzCon?
I mean, it's certainly a way to go for both of these teams, but Diabolus, they're 2-0 up in the series, and it is heartbreaking for Method Orange because they really came in with the hope of this Frost Death Knight being their kind of beacon of light in this tournament. So far, it's just looking like Diabolus is a bit too good for it because ultimately they don't need to win the game fast. They have this late game win condition, so the onus is completely on Method Orange in terms of offense throughout this game. Maybe in Game 3, what I'd like to see from them is Mez, when they do go for these grips into the Blinding Sleet, they need to get more swaps over onto Asgrath. I think you guys were calling out during the cast, you know, they have these triple blind into triple stun setups. Maybe try get some kind of random almost one-shots onto the Druid. They can set it up that way because every single time they do catch Alec out, he has one of his ice blocks available, right? It's very rare that they set it up so perfectly that they can even get one of those, and because of that, Diabolus are just playing it safe, and they do have this inevitable win on the Death Knight.
Now, PK, you have a much more curvaceous, glowy brain than I do, and I want to ask you a question really quick, because what I'm seeing in the beginning portions of the game just seems like it's very scripted, right? And it's easy to shut down what method, once actually get going, it's very easy to stop that pressure. The second we hit dampening, it just seems like then you can flip the script, and we can actually see the Rogue Mage just have that target of Mez, and it almost seems inevitable.
Yeah, it seems like Diabolus is just doing. They're so solid in their strategy of just waiting until the right moment to start getting aggressive. As we can tell, we don't really see Asgrath pushing in for those bash cyclones or really just Alec really trying to push in and get right on top of all of them, because there's no need for that. If they wait it out, play it safe, make sure they have enough mana going into that point in the game, once they all start to collapse on top of the team of Method Orange, it's really difficult for Sidu to ever heal through it. He doesn't have the buttons for it.
And right now, it almost seems like they're paving the road to no longer be in the running for BlizzCon. When we return, are they going to change anything up, or are we going to see Method Orange get sent home? We only have enough room at BlizzCon for one of these teams, and going, well, that's definitely the move. And speaking of the move, I want everybody in chat to help me right now. Push 1 to summon the Sturge to the desk. It's been nice having Jelly and Pika on the cast. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. Now we got Carl. Sturge, how you been, man? It's nice to see you. We also got to see your comp get played a little bit in this tournament. What'd you actually think when the Rogue and that Shadow Priest got locked in?
Well, Rich, I'm doing great. It's actually great to see all these teams honestly playing really intense series. Even this one, still have a little bit of faith in Sidu, honestly. But yeah, the Rogue Shadow Priest was crazy. They didn't get the win, but I think they did a great job. I think it's just a really difficult matchup for everyone all around. And I mean, they're the ones that helped us do that. We wouldn't have won the last cup if they weren't playing Paladin, because we just kind of took that from them.
It's definitely refreshing to see an actual good Shadow Priest rogue play the comp on, like... Never mind.
Yeah. I think that there are some things like having like a really good healer that make that comp like stronger.
Yeah, no, I think watching him in Poike, just the way he would run in for the Hammer of Justices and the way he traded out those defensive cooldowns.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were watching that, but like,
no, I was studying. I think. Yeah, I was trying to study my best.
That's
maybe
really
try
good.
to learn something there, but. Yeah, no, it was exciting to see them. I love, that's my favorite comp in the game, so that's always for me. It's like, I want to see them do well.
Yeah, you know, sometimes taking a break from the tournament and actually getting to study can be like really valuable. I think that's something that
yeah, I think we have a lot of study time right now. This is nice. We have a nice break going on, so
about a year, right? Yeah, but a little bit like that. All right. No jokes are holy. Nothing is sacred. We're also going to see that in the arena as well. Method Orange actually going to switch over to that Unholy Death Knight. Now, Sturge, you actually said you think that Method Orange could potentially pull off the reverse sweep. What is it about this team that gives them that potential?
I think they just shock a lot of people. Honestly, like even BlizzCon last year, we felt pretty good in the lower bracket, and they just swept us in the finals. I think they can really surprise a lot of people, and I have a lot of faith in them, even with this comp. I think they're slowly learning exactly how to play it. I don't think it's necessarily favorable at all, because, I mean, the Rogue Mage Druid is still really powerful, but I think they can find their shot to win in like 20% dampening, maybe all in the Mage, maybe swap to the Druid.
Do you think the Unholy Death Knight's going to open up a lot more opportunities to potentially have that win condition, Sturge?
I think they might just feel more comfortable on Unholy. That's what they played all year. I think they might just feel a little bit more comfort in it just because they know exactly how much damage is going out and how much pressure they can do despite the Unholy nerfs.
Well, let's see if comfort is going to be enough. If not, we are going to see Method Orange's road to BlizzCon get cut short.
I mean, let's hope Mez can find some way to pull this through for Method Orange. I feel like he's a really huge key factor, and Holy Death Knights are so disruptive. And as long as he's stopping Alex on the goes and dampening, I mean, maybe they'll be able to turn it around. But I haven't seen a Death Knight play Unholy since before the nerfs. It's been so long. Let's see what Method Orange has up their sleeves, I guess.
Yeah, Method Orange deciding to bring back this composition. What actually happened was Mage Rogue has evolved to the point where it used to beat the Unholy Death Knight. So the reason why you see all these Death Knights trying out that Frost specialization is because people actually think you can consistently beat Rogue Mage, but that clearly isn't the case here. So full sheep onto Sea-Doo, kidney shot onto Trill, trying to get some pressure rolling. Mez, a nice asphyxiate stun onto Nixie. They're denying the go here. Cyclone coming in onto Sea-Doo, good follow-up there. Trill under a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mez calling the polymorph, and here we see it again. They're actually going for a go this time early into the game, forcing Trill at about 30% HP, but Trill just flying serpent kicks away, heals himself behind the pillar. Sea-Doo doesn't have to worry about him, but Sea-Doo needs to start worrying about himself. Calling to a kidney shot, dipping at 30%, half bash off that. Polymorph over on Trill, tank trick, it does proc by Sea-Doo, stuck in a growth right now. Sea-Doo's in a lot of trouble, has no wall, nor early totem, no spirit link already this early into the game. This is looking really bad, Pika.
Yeah, though, Nixie and Alec are just all over Sea-Doo right now. There's no chance of getting away right now, trying to Ghost Wolf and kite it out. Nixie gets Chains of Ice by Mez, does sprint freedom away from that. Great job staying on top of him. Next kidney shot onto Sea-Doo, could be a trinket right here. This is it. Any chance of dispel on the Ghost Wolf? There it is right there. Nice dispel by Alec there. In cap by Trill onto Nixie. Still, DR Chiefs on Sea-Doo into full growth. Trinkets the growth.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was probably the worst way to get taken out completely from BlizzCon Road. But you also have to think about, for 1 second, the fact that we look at Diabolus, and this is a team that was coming off of a very crushing defeat as well. I think you expect them to come into this series completely deflated, and they come in strong. They have the game plan, and Sturge, they're able to take down Method Orange in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it seems like, I guess they just came in with a lot of confidence since this last match. They kind of just ran in and bullied Method Orange, it seemed like. They still on top of them the entire game, swapped to Trill and Sea-Doo immediately after he ran away. And, I mean, a minute and a half victory for RMD in that matchup seems pretty quick. They kind of just, I don't know, I guess they didn't want another dampener.
Yeah, maybe it was that. I mean, ultimately, the thing that we saw in the previous games as well was the idea of you had to wait, really, for Mez to become that juicy target. You waited for dampening, you waited for that critical mass. This time around, they just said, hey, let's do the do.
They definitely ran in. He spear-linked within the first minute of the game. He had no wall, no earthen totem. I don't know. They kind of just stuck on him. I can't help but think that maybe he didn't think he was in that much trouble that early on in the game. I mean, there's no dampening at all, or maybe maybe they weren't used to the Unholy DK being in there instead of the Frost DK with a little bit of less uptime on the Mage being able to blink around the pillar. But
it maybe have a little bit more peel too. Either way, they just ultimately are able to rip Sea-Doo to shreds here. I think something needed to change, whether it was seeing a Demon Hunter or it was seeing a different specialization of that DK, but that experiment is not going to work, and we are not going to see Method Orange at BlizzCon this year. The reigning champions have been sent home, and this really does open up the way quite a bit. And I think the big thing that I'm thinking about right now too, Pika, is who did Method Orange play to get sent home? They played Method Black, and then they play the champions from the year prior. And I don't think that they necessarily had a harder bracket than other teams. The level of competition is just so high that you can have the 2 grand finalists from BlizzCon last year both not going to BlizzCon.
I think that's about as hard as it gets. I feel like I think brackets are a very important aspect in tournaments that I think are overlooked by most people, but people don't realize for a team like Method Orange coming in and having to fight Method Black in your first round of the tournament, like you usually expect like, okay, like the beginning rounds are kind of going to be a bit easier, I can get kind of warmed up, but instead it's like, all right, these are probably the hardest teams we could fight in the entire tournament, and we need to perform right now. So I think the brackets honestly were really rough for them, but it's really sad to see them go down like that. I was expecting a bit more from them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were, and ultimately, you know, even if you have a hard bracket and easy bracket, there are just no easy teams left in the AWC. That's just a fact at this point. The skill level is so high, and to hear more about that, we're going to jump down to the stage with our champion in Alec.
Hey, you guys, I'm here with Alec. You just knocked out Method Orange, defending BlizzCon champions, and you seem kind of calm about it. How are you feeling?
I feel a bit sad because yesterday I had qualification for BlizzCons in my hands, a couple of globals different, and we could be celebrating, but instead we have a hard road ahead of us, and this is just the start.
Now, last season, we didn't really see much of an answer to Rogue Mage. We just saw Mez on that Frost DK. How do you prepare for a meta change right before a LAN?
We noticed that Frost DK doesn't really have much finishing power, that they're just stalling, so we just counter-stalled, Druid healing's OP, and then we just outlived them.
Now, you lost to Cloud9 in the spring finals, and you go on to face them next. Are you ready? Are you feeling prepared?
Cloud9 is incredible, and I think whoever plays better in next match will just win. It's just that.
All right, well, thank you so much. Back to you guys at the desk.
Alec, always very well-spoken and also very humble when he's up on the stage. I mean, I would be firing shots like crazy if I was in that situation. I'd be like, hey, I just sent them back 15 years, the classic WoW. You know, like I'd be firing shots like crazy. But Alec, always very humble, and also I think he's one of the people that you just think of time and time again that has that the right train of thought to figure out win conditions. He can take a loss and then he goes, okay, I'm going to take that loss, I'm just going to turn it into a point of data. And we're going to come back the next day and we're going to try to get that qualification. And I think that when we look at him right now, my big question for you right now, Sturge, is do you think that this is a team that could come back and actually potentially win another BlizzCon?
I think it's definitely possible right now. I mean, the meta, they've pretty much shown that they can play in a lot of different metas. They play a lot of comps. They're pretty strategic about it. And I think right now, they're playing RMD. They're arguably the top 3 RMDs in the region, and right now they're performing pretty well. I think the wildcard series was pretty intense, but they can definitely come back. This showing was pretty wild, 3-0 in a pretty fast fashion. I think they could. I think they can definitely come back and maybe get into the finals, even potentially win this LAN.
Yeah, it's very interesting with this team too. I think Healing Stat was really the one who's kind of pointed their trajectory throughout the year. They always get better and better and better. This is like one of those teams that's a learning team. I think that particularly hit strength late in an expansion. We're going to see that on the bracket right now. But would you say that that is really true of this Diabolus team? Do you think that they're a team that just gets better throughout the year?
I mean, I know that from personal experience. You know, I fought them at BlizzCon 2 years ago in the grand finals, and I mean, when you watch them fight Kolos, Windwalker, DK, Death Knight before they fought us, they lost a couple of games, and then all of a sudden you see them just absolutely just steamroll Kolos team, and that's what they do. They just learn to get better and better throughout the games, and maybe at some point they'll even be able to beat Method Black.
Now, we also look right now at that matchup, and you heard respect for Cloud9. I think everybody really does respect what Cloud9's been able to do. Obviously, looking fantastic in the NA region and also winning that first LAN of the year. Once again, you talk about no easy brackets, no easy matchups. If you're looking on the side of this team, they literally just went up against the reigning champions. Now they're going up against the champions of an entire region. Everybody with so many accolades in this tournament as a whole. What do you think of that matchup before we actually change gears, Peek, and look at the next matchup on the stage?
I think this is a matchup that goes way back. These teams are no strangers to each other. They have fought time and time again, but I think the main difference here is that Method Black right now really has a very favorable meta, but as we've seen, Wildcard Gaming has surprised us in many ways with their composition, bringing out that Mistweaver Monk that nobody else in the entire tournament has even attempted to try to play, and they seem to be finding a lot of success with it. So I think we could never count out Wildcard Gaming at this point.